Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host, Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Plurk, and YouTube. Today is Tuesday, 7th of May, 2013. This is episode 26. It's all Steve's fault. Welcome to the show. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. Yesterday was Steve's birthday, and Steve is my boyfriend, if you're new and don't know that yet. I frequently refer to him as just the boyfriend on the podcast, though, so even if you're not new, you might not know that. Anyway, it was his birthday yesterday, so this whole weekend, I've just been distracted doing birthday stuff. We had people over on Sunday for dinner. We had Becca and her boyfriend over. I guess they're not really people. They are just family, but we had them over. We had shrimp tacos and amazing ice cream from Kroger. It's private selection. The salted caramel truffle something or other. Sea salt caramel truffle. I don't know. It's amazing and delicious. And Chris is lactose intolerant, and even he said that it was worth the stomach trouble he would have later for eating it. We played Cards Against Humanity, which is totally inappropriate and very, very funny. Love that game, but you have to be in the right group of people. Steve tried to take it over Christmas to his aunt's house, and her husband's a pastor, so she's a pastor's wife, and she did not approve, so they did not play. I wasn't going to play because I felt that it was an inappropriate environment. I'm all for being inappropriate. My family is highly inappropriate. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I took it to my family for Christmas. It went over great, but his family's a little different than ours, which is fine. Everybody's different. I look like not awesome today. My hair is as close to a bad hair day as I get, mostly because I don't think I brushed it before I put it up this morning. Kind of just was like, oh, get out of my way. Doing a lot of cleaning right now because my sister is going to be here in less than 2 weeks. Not that my house is really, really gross, but you know how you do your normal cleaning and certain things fall to the wayside? Well, when someone comes over, you want all of those things that fell to the wayside to be taken care of. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I've been cleaning all day, which is why I look so awesome. Also, I've been really, really, really tired lately. Over the weekend, I went to sleep early 2 nights, like 9 o'clock early. And last night I stayed up. Yesterday there was no podcast, by the way, because Steve took the day off for his birthday, and instead of recording at baby nap time, everybody in the house took a nap. I'm very fond of you all, but nap time trumps podcast time because that happens so rarely for me. I am blabbering on today. Would you like to get into content? Okay, I have a thank you. Shortly before I sat down to record, I got an email saying, hey, you got a wrap. And it was from Anuska, who does the Swedish podcast, Swedish Handcrafts podcast. And she is Swedish on Ravelry and Plurk. And she gifted me the Celtic Secret by Josh Ricks, Geonitrix. And I'm really excited. I am not really a shawl knitter. However, I will knit almost all of Josh's shawls. There are some that I'm like, nah, take it or leave it. But Celtic Secret is one of the ones that I'm really, really excited to make, so yay! The Mom's Day Craft Along is still going on for 1 more week. This is the last week that you have to do things. So get things done. Get them in the finished object thread. Anything that you finished for a mom, any definition of mom counts. Starting from February 25th through now. So if you're new and you still want to join in and you don't think you can finish something in the next week, look and see if you finished anything for a mom in the past, how many months is that? 2.5, 3? I don't know. I'm too tired to do math right now. Anyway, it can be any RAV sanctioned craft, and it could be new or work in progress. When the thing started. Please tag your projects with BPH MOM for Bunnyfish Mom's Day Craft Along. And the prizes will be a pair of hand-knit socks out of one of these yarns, or a $20 gift card to an indie crafter of some sort, dyer, bag maker, stitch marker maker, or $20 for Ravelry patterns or ebooks. Any combination you want of the patterns or ebooks, as long as it's under $20. Okay, I think that's all for the Mom's Day Craft Along. I am going to be doing a new Craft Along in June and July. I just want to give you information so you can figure out what you want to do then. Give you some time to plan. Some people like to plan like me. I like to start out the month with all the projects that I want to get done, all figured out already. So, June and July, it is the one skein Craft Along. Yes, you would think I would know what my own things are called, but no, I don't. Not today. You must use at least 75% and not more than 100% of a single skein for the project. You can do lots of projects and enter them all, but each one has to use 75% to 100% of a skein, which means if you get to the bind off and you're 10 yards short, it unfortunately doesn't count if you break open a new skein. So keep that in mind when you're planning your projects. What sorts of projects can you make from one skein? A ton of things. Hats, scarves, socks, cowls, baby sweaters. I'm sure other things that just aren't coming to the top of my head. But I know that I have made a lot of projects from 75% to 100% of a skein. And it has to be a full project. You can't grab like a 50-gram skein of yarn and pull out one sock and call that a project. It has to be something that is completely functional from that ball of yarn. I'm not sure what the prize will be yet. I anticipate it will be a skein of something to go along with the one skein. And this knit along is a joint knit along between myself and Anna of the Knitting with Sir Ancelot and Lady G podcast. So something to look forward to. It will be 2 months long, which is more than enough time, I feel, to finish something that only takes one skein of yarn. But I wanted to do something small that would be portable, and one skein is completely portable for holiday traveling. I keep getting distracted because my eyes have that white circle in them from the light reflecting off of them, and then I get distracted by how green my eyes actually look in the camera today. I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, finished objects. I have some. I have 3. One you can't see. It's the Cthulhu that I finished, and it is not in the post yet, but it is all packaged up and in my vehicle waiting to go to the post office, which will hopefully happen this evening, but maybe not until tomorrow. But I'll put in a picture. That is a hodgepodge pattern, kind of my own design, kind of bits and pieces of other people's, so I'm going to call it my own. And it is Caron 1 pound. I used a US size D hook, which is 3.25 millimeters. And I have unicorn. This is a unicorn for my niece, Cecilia. And this is the Little Baby Unicorn by Rachel Ho. I used Red Heart Super Saver in, this is Pretty in Pink, and this is Soft Pink. And the cream is Caron 1 pound in the colorway Cream. I think it's called Cream. I don't know. I could be making that up. So this is the unicorn, and I think it's adorable. And, oh, what's going on there? I think Mara must have been trying to crochet. She does that. She comes up and takes my hook and sometimes pulls a yarn out of place. I'll have to fix that before Cecilia gets this. In less than 2 weeks. When my sister comes, she's bringing her daughter. I won't see the boys until I see them in Michigan, though, because they have school. Cecilia is not yet in school. Unicorn! Amanda, I feel like you should be breaking out into song right now. Just saying. I finished also the Nutkin socks for Steve, and they are made using Peyton's Croy Sock FX in the colorway Clover Colors, and this is what it looks like, kind of. Well, I think you can kind of see the detail on this sock right here. They look really, really good in person. They just don't photograph at all. I tried photographing them on my feet. I tried photographing them on his feet. I'm trying to show you in the camera right now, and it's not working. What is going on here? Who knows? Oh, just a little fibery spit off. These socks are dirty. Steve wore these from the time that I cast off until this morning. So yeah, my hands are probably now filthy, but whatever. That's pretty nice, though, that he really, really enjoyed them. That's a pretty good compliment, and I'll take it. Someone wearing your hand knits until they have to actually change to go to work. By the way, those socks were made, I know I had started them last week, but I had just cast on. Those socks were made in 2 days. Josh and I, sort of a knitter, S-W-O-R-D of a knitter, because it's impossible to say his name without spelling the whole thing. I challenged him to knit a pair of socks because he is not a sock knitter. He is a shawl knitter, which, I mean, that's cool. I'm not a shawl knitter. I'm definitely a sock knitter, although I will occasionally knit shawls. I challenged him, and we had a race, and he beat me by 20 minutes or half an hour or 40 minutes. I can't remember. It was really, really late at night, and I just wanted to get the freaking socks done because I was almost monogamous with them. So he won, but it was a good race and a whole pair of socks done in 2 days. That is my new record, and I'm not going to try to beat it because I enjoy the finished product, but I didn't enjoy the process. I'm not a monogamous knitter. I need to turn the page so I can tell you all the information on my works in progress. I'm not going to make the turn the page sound though today. Just not feeling it. So, first up, I have the shawl that looks like the big blob, the big pink blob. This is going to be the Lazy Katie by Bridget Freyer. I'm making it for my mom. She picked out the pattern and the yarn. I don't think I would ever pick out a pattern that was this much stockinette stitch. Where's that purple? There it is. Okay, so from here to here is what I did since last week Sunday, which I think when I podcasted last week, I forgot to move it. I think it was here-ish, hereabouts. So from there to there, next week it will look fantastic because it will be blocked. I am on the border and I have 12 more rows to go, but every other row is a purl back. I'm not going to say it's going to fly because it's like 300 stitches right now, but it will go sort of quickly-ish. It'll definitely be done by next week because it has to be. I'm using Ice Yarns Angora Premium, which is 80% Angora, 20% acrylic, and I'm using a US size 8 5.0 millimeter needle. Oh, this is the colorway Rose Pink, and you would not think by looking at me that this would look fantastic on my mom because I feel like this color looks grossly hideous against my skin. But my mom has blonde hair and blue eyes and very, very fair skin, so it will look fantastic on her. I have Socks on the Plane, which I drew the pattern for last week on air, and I'm glad that it went with this pattern because this yarn is not, I mean, it is stripy, but it's patterny stripes. I think some of the other patterns would have looked not as great against this yarn, so thank you, Gwen, for recommending that I draw the pattern, and thank you, pattern gods, for giving me socks on a plane. These socks are made on a US size 1, which is 2.25 millimeters, and I didn't even bother trying at all to match up the colors. I'm sure you're shocked. I'm sure you can't tell by looking at them that I didn't care. But I noticed after I had been working on them that they are striping in the opposite direction, which is totally fine with me. That just makes them more fun. I don't know how tall I'm going to make these socks. Someone in a VKN asked me, and I don't know. I'm probably going to go until I am so sick of knitting these socks that I want to stab my eyes out, and then probably go like 3 or 4 more pattern repeats. When I'm working toe up and I get to the leg, even though I prefer long socks, once I get there, I'm kind of like, well, I could stop at any time. And then I stop pretty quickly. So I'm going to force myself to make these a little bit longer, I'm hoping. I'm really excited about this blue color that's at the top. It's new, it's exciting. I don't get excited for self-stripy yarns when it just changes the color. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. But having a whole new color coming to the sock, that was pretty exciting. I guess if I got one of those 12 stripe sock yarns, then I'd be excited because I'd be like, what's coming next? What's coming next? Because that would get me like through here or something. I don't know how big those stripes are. I'm making things up. Anyway, pretty sure I already told you the needle, but I don't think I told you the yarn. It is Red Heart, Heart and Soul in the colorway Green Envy, and it is 70% superwashable and 30% nylon. Not a bad blend for a relatively inexpensive yarn. And also it's not the softest thing, but it holds up pretty well, and it's pretty soft. I don't think I'd make a cowl out of it, but it's awesome for socks. I worked on one of the 3 headbands. I moved the other 2 headbands off because as I started to work on it, Mara climbed in my lap and she couldn't grasp that we were changing yarns for each project, so she and I did this together. Go through the first of the central pattern repeats. This is the Blizzard Headband by Jenna Meyer. Yes, Meyer. I don't know why I want to say Mayer. It doesn't make sense, but Jenna Meyer, like the lunch meat. And I'm using Bernat Roving in the colorway Flint for this particular one on US size 9, 5.5 millimeter needles. This should be done next week. Hopefully another one will be pretty far along since my sister will be here so soon. Yes, I am going to keep mentioning that because I'm really, really excited. I miss my family and my friends in Michigan. Let's see. Oh, I have 2 more. I thought I only had 1 more, and that's what I was going to say, but untrue. So this was not started last week. Not that you can really tell what this is going to be, but these are going to be Gandalf socks when they grow up. They're for Haley. I have 2 more rounds on the cuff, and then I'm going to call it good because she likes shorter socks, and I feel like making a 2.5-inch cuff on a sock that's going to have like a 3-inch leg is a huge waste of all the pattern that could go there. So this is what the yarn looks like all balled up, and it is Tailored Handmade Sugar Maple Sock in Fly You Fools. It's the first time I've worked with this yarn, and I am really enjoying it. I have to admit that I don't love it as much as I love working with Nooch fiber in the Midtown sock, but I do like it a lot. This is 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. I do like the colors, and I would not argue with making more socks out of this. I just think that I like the twist better on the other sock yarn. I know everybody just stopped watching because Highland Handmaids, everybody loves her. And I'm really fond. I really like the sock yarn. I think I'm going to really, really, really enjoy this project. Yes, project. I was trying to think like process and project and some other pro word all at once, and my brain and mouth couldn't decide which ending they wanted to use. That's what I have to say about that. US size 1, 2.25 millimeter needle, and it is from they're the Gandalf socks by Claire Ellen from the Fellowship of the Sock book. Why, yes, I am knitting a lot of socks from that book, and I plan to knit most, if not all of them. The last thing that I'm working on is spinning. It is the all spun up. Is that the fiber? It's the fiber that I won for finishing the most works in progress in the One Ravelry group, Yarn Therapy Zone. I think it's all spun up. Didn't have a colorway, but it's 4.2 ounces of superwash merino. And this is how much I have done. There's a little money shot, so you can get glared in your face and also see how fine that is working up. And now I'm going to take that out so you can just look at how pretty the colors are on that. I love spinning on the spindle because I really like wrapping the fiber pretty. I am working on a huge cream color chunk right now. So before I got through, I think that's 2 layers of the cream, but before that it was these colors, purple and brown, and this is the fiber. And so cute. Yesterday, the day before, I don't know, days run together sometimes, Mara was supposed to be eating lunch or dinner or a snack. I don't know. She was supposed to be eating. And the way I'm spinning this right now is I have the fiber over my neck, and because I don't want to rip off strips. I don't know why, I just don't want to. I like it to stay attached as much as possible, probably because I'm trying to spin it so thin and I don't really want to reconnect things that frequently, but Mara, she touched it again, so it's broken. Anyway, she put it around her neck, and she picked up the spindle, and she was like going like this with it and trying to spin, and it was really, really cute, except she broke the fiber. But she's trying to spin, and that's adorable. I'm going for really thin with this. I want to make socks out of it. I think I'm going to 3-ply it. It's superwash merino 100%, but I think that I said once upon a time, maybe on the podcast, maybe in VKN, that I didn't really like felted clogs, but I would make felted clogs to wear socks made out of this. That's all of my works in progress, but I have been doing some progress on my sock yarn blanket. Are you proud of me? I'm kind of proud of me. I've been doing a lot of things for other people, a lot of projects for other people, but I've also been balancing that out pretty much equally with projects for myself. So yay! It's hard for me. So let's see what there is to see. This square is, this is Becca yarn. Not my ex-girlfriend Becca, the other lady who lives in Kentucky who the VKN group works with. My Becca doesn't have sock yarn leftovers yet. And this is from Lisa. And this is a special square because this pink and white, this is one yarn, and that was from Lisa. And then this greeny, bluey color, that was from Becca. Ran out halfway through, but whatevs. I'm not worried about it. I like the scrappy squares. I started a square with more buckeye yarn. Here's the little ball of it. So it's going to be fantastic, and you will see the full thing next week. And then these two squares. This square came from Lorraine, who is one of the ladies who I knit with on Sunday, and this bright orange came from Lisa. And yes, those are all the squares that I did this week. I don't know how many that is because I didn't count. But there you go. That's my sock yarn blanket, and I hope to get many more done in the next few days. Are you enjoying seeing Ducky? Oh, over on this side mirror. That's my kitten, and he's awesome. He's the best cat that we have in the house, and not just because I'm biased, but because he really is the most awesome cat. He can jump from the floor to the top of a door. No big deal. He's like, what? Can't everyone do this? And the other cats are like, no, you're crazy. So my cat, kind of a crazy, kind of an awesome. Depends on how you look at it. I got some new things. I forgot to put it in my show notes. I almost forgot. Got some new things. Both of these came on the same day, which was right after I recorded last week, which is probably why I forgot to put it in my show notes, because that was so long ago since I'm recording a day late. I don't know what I was going to say, but I feel like I was going to say something. I don't know. Anyway, they both came on Monday. 2 weeks ago or something, there was a flash sale at Nooch Fiber, and I put it up on Plurk, and I put it up on Facebook because I love one of the dyers. I would probably love both of the dyers if I knew both of them, but I only know one of them, and I love her, and it was for her birthday, and they had a 25% off code, which if you follow in the enabler code, it was in there. So I posted on Plurk and Facebook, someone please buy the colorway Fade Out so that it can stop taunting me. Well, somebody did. And that somebody is Steve. He bought me Fade Out. Yeah. It's totally okay if you want to drool a little bit over this yarn because it is so beautiful. This is the Midtown sock, 75% superwash, 25% nylon. And it's squishy, and I love it, and the colors are amazing. And the other package that came was not a purchase. I won it from Penguin Soup, that podcast that I told you about, I don't know, a month ago. She's really, really cute. So these are from Ginny. She hosts Penguin Soup, and she made them herself, and once I can get them to line up kind of so that hopefully you can see them, there you go. They're little owls, and they're adorable, and I really, really, really like, nope, this way, this guy right here, the see-through one, and I like this one right here because it looks like a Totoro. If you don't know what a Totoro is, that is very sad for you, and I will put a link or an image in the show notes because you should know. But anyway, they're really, really cute, and I haven't used them yet because I didn't want to lose them before I showed you. But I think I'm going to put them to use pretty quickly. I'm not sure where, but I'll figure something out. Those Nebula socks could probably use some stitch markers. By the way, those are still only the cast on in first round. I didn't work on them this week. But you could tell because I didn't talk about it. This week I read 2 books. We went to the library on Tuesday or Thursday, or I don't know. I think on Tuesday we went to the library. Yeah, Tuesday. I picked up 4 books. 3 were by Stephanie Pearl McPhee. The first book that I picked up and read was just called Yarn Harlot. And then this one is Free Range Knitter, and I finished this one this morning, and I finished Yarn Harlot in a day instead of, well, not instead of working on those socks. That's part of the reason why it took 2 days instead of a day and a half to make those socks. Josh's socks were, he did vanilla, but he worked on size 1 instead of size 2, so his socks had more stitches than mine did. So, yeah, he worked harder, but I put pattern on mine, so that's how I figured it was a fair match. But anyway, I read Yarn Harlot while I was knitting those socks, so if there had been more knitting and less Yarn Harlot in my day, who knows? Maybe I'll challenge him to a rematch in a while, not right now. I have too much going on to challenge him right now. But when it's starting to get cold and he needs more than, I think he has 3 pairs of knitted socks now, he's going to need more when it gets cold out, so we'll see. And then maybe I'll bust out a pair of socks for Steve in 2 days again. Anyway, both books are in the nonfiction section of your library, which is where I get all of my books pretty much. And they are a collection of short essays. I can't think of a standout in either of them, except in the first one there was the story of a midwife, and she knit for her people while they were in labor, and the particular story that was told was of a woman who lost her child, and that story made me cry for like 10 minutes, just sobs, tears. It was a mess. So be warned that not all of the stories are funny, but many of them are funny or entertaining or informative. If you don't read her blog, because you don't read blogs, but you do read books, I would check out either Free Range Knitter or Yarn Harlot. I read another collection of her essays not too long ago. What was that one? All Wound Up, I think. And I got another one of her books that I might read this week, also from the library, but I don't remember what that one's called. And she has a book called Knitting Rules, which is very informative and not so much stories. But that's not what I'm going to read next. I'm going to go back to A Clash of Kings, because I didn't read that at all this week. And I got a nonfiction story thing about quilts. So I'm going to read that instead. Okay, let's wrap this up. On to 3 things and the motorcycle outside. I am going to talk about podcasts again. The first one I'm going to talk about is Sittin' and Knittin', which is hosted by Diana, and occasionally her daughters come in. And did I talk about this before? Because I thought I had talked about her podcast before, but I didn't see it in my show notes, so maybe I just missed it. Anyway, she's really, really, really nice. She podcasts every 3 or so weeks because she's busy. She has a full brood. She has many children. And as I said, her 2 daughters sometimes make appearances as podcasters, and sometimes her boy children, they come in not as podcasters, just as, hi, I'm a boy. I'm going to be in the podcast, in the background, sort of how my children do. She is knitting 3 sweaters this summer. I think that's amazing. Well, she has plans to knit 3 sweaters. Not that I think that she won't, but I think that's crazy. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch, though. So check out Sittin' and Knittin'. Also, Caffeinated Knitting with Daniela. She's Caffeinated Gert. Diana is his handmaid. So Caffeinated Knitting is really fun. Daniela has she hosts hers in her sunroom, which is really, really lovely. And the cats, she has 2, frequently make appearances. Well, really only one of them makes appearances, but the other one makes off-camera talky appearances. It's not really appearances. but I can't think of what that would be called. She has a little boy, and he frequently makes off-camera appearances as well. And she knits a lot. It's really interesting to watch. I really like that one. I also really like Bitty Punk with Betsy, which is on YouTube. The other two are on Blip. Bitty Punk is on YouTube, and Betsy is awesome. I really feel like if she lived closer to me than she does, that we would be friends. But she lives in Guam, which is super far away. Right now, she is in the U.S. She just went to Maryland Cheapin Mall. We might have a surprise visitor. Ducky has decided to come sniff this way, and there he is. Anyway, it's just like hanging out, talking with somebody. She's very conversational. There's a lot of flow to it. It's not segmented as such. She does a lot of spinning and talks about dyeing and spinning and her knitting, of course. I believe, yeah, she crochets as well, and she's just really entertaining. So go check out those 3 podcasts, and thank you for spending the last while with me. I hope you made something fantastic with your 6 and string, and I hope to see you next week when I will hopefully be a little bit more well rested and focused. Have a good week.